Imagine it is 11:30 p.m. on a Sunday. The house is completely quiet, but your mind is deafeningly loud. You are lying in bed, the glow of your smartphone casting a pale blue light across your face. You are scrolling. You have been scrolling for 45 minutes. You swipe past a photo of a former college roommate standing in front of a new house. You swipe past a video of a 23-year-old claiming they made $50,000 last month while working 2 hours a day from a beach. You open LinkedIn, and you are immediately hit with a wall of corporate performance art. A colleague from 3 years ago is humbled and honored to announce their promotion. A recruiter is sharing a multi-paragraph story about leadership. With every swipe, with every manufactured milestone you witness, a heavy, invisible weight settles onto your chest. You feel behind. You feel invisible. You feel like you are losing a race you never consciously agreed to run. Society has convinced you that if you are not visible, you do not exist. We are told that success is not real unless it is documented, filtered, and validated by the applause of strangers. We are told that to survive in the modern economy, you must build a personal brand. You must monetize your personality. You must share your morning routine, your wins, your losses, and your vulnerabilities, all to feed an algorithm that will forget you the second you stop uploading. You put the phone face down on the nightstand. You close your eyes, but the images keep flashing behind your eyelids. You are exhausted, not just from your job, but from the relentless digital performance of modern life. But what if I told you that the ultimate flex in the 21st century has nothing to do with going viral? What if the ultimate flex is making enough money to quietly, completely, and permanently disappear from the internet? Let us talk about the invisible rich. You have probably never noticed them, and that is exactly the point. They do not have blue checkmarks next to their names. They do not film themselves walking out of luxury car dealerships. If you search for their names on Google, you might find a single outdated public record from a decade ago and nothing else. While the rest of the world is screaming for attention, they are sitting in silence, quietly collecting cash flow. You first realized this a few years ago. You were at your corporate job, sitting in a meeting with a vendor who provided the logistics software for your company. His name was David. David was in his late 40s, wore a plain gray sweater, and spoke very softly. His company was billing yours $80,000 a month, and your company was just one of his 40 clients. After the meeting, out of curiosity, you searched for David online. You wanted to see his LinkedIn profile. You wanted to see what kind of thought leadership he posted. You wanted to see his Instagram. You found nothing. David had a LinkedIn account, but it had no profile picture and 14 connections. The last activity was from 2014. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter. There was no personal website. David was generating millions of dollars a year, and he was completely untraceable. That was the moment the illusion shattered for you. You realized that visibility is not a prerequisite for wealth. In fact, for a certain type of person, visibility is a liability. When you build a business around your face, your name, and your personality, you become the product. If you get sick, the business stops. If you say the wrong thing, the business collapses. If the algorithm changes, you lose your livelihood. You are a prisoner in a digital panopticon, constantly dancing for an audience that can revoke your income at any moment. But David? David owned systems. David owned code. David owned equity. His cash flow was entirely detached from his ego. You decided right then and there that you did not want to be a digital creator. You did not want to be an influencer. You did not want to be a thought leader. You wanted to be a ghost. And so you began the quiet transition. You realized that to buy back your privacy, you first needed to buy back your time. You needed a vehicle that generated income without requiring your physical or digital presence. You looked at the landscape of boring businesses. You didn't start a YouTube channel. You didn't start a podcast. Instead, you found a small, neglected niche. Maybe you started a commercial cleaning company that only serviced dental offices. Maybe you bought a small fleet of vending machines. Maybe you learned how to run Google ads for local roofers and plumbers. Whatever it was, it had 3 strict rules. Rule number 1. The business operates under an LLC with a generic name that cannot be traced back to you. Rule number 2. The service is so incredibly boring that nobody would ever want to interview you about it on a podcast. Rule number 3. The clients do not care who you are. They only care that the problem goes away. For the first year, it was a grind. You worked your day job, and you built your shadow business at night. But as the months passed, something beautiful started to happen. The money started to flow. You landed your first client, then your third, then your 10th. You hired a virtual assistant to handle the emails. You hired a local manager to handle the operations. You were making an extra $4,000, then $8,000, then $12,000 a month. And the best part? Not a single person in your social circle knew. You would sit at dinner with your friends, listening to them complain about the algorithm. Your friend Sarah, who runs a graphic design business, was on the verge of tears because her latest Instagram reel only got 200 views, and she was terrified she wouldn't be able to pay rent. Your friend Mike was stressing over how to word a LinkedIn post so his boss would see how dedicated he was to the company culture. They were trapped in the digital rat race. They were trading their peace of mind for metrics that did not matter. You listened to them. You paid for the drinks. You offered a sympathetic ear. But inside, you felt an overwhelming sense of calm. Your boring business didn't have an Instagram account. It didn't have a TikTok. It just had a simple, one-page website, a phone number, and a steady stream of recurring revenue. You had successfully decoupled your income from your identity. Then comes the day you reach the tipping point. Your investments and your boring business are now generating enough passive and semi-passive income to cover your living expenses 3 times over. You have already quit the corporate job. You have already optimized your life. You have the money. Now it is time to claim the ultimate prize. It is a Tuesday morning. The air outside is crisp. You are sitting at your desk with a cup of black coffee. You open your laptop. You log into Facebook. You look at your profile, a digital museum of a past life. Photos of you at college parties. Photos of you at previous jobs. Hundreds of friends whose birthdays you are reminded of, but whose voices you haven't heard in a decade. You go to the settings. You scroll down to account ownership and control. You click deactivate and deletion. You select delete account. The screen asks if you are sure. It shows you pictures of your friends, trying to manipulate your emotions. Sarah will miss you. You smile. Sarah has your phone number. If she truly misses you, she can call. You type in your password. You click confirm. Gone. Next is Instagram. You scroll through your grid one last time. You see the carefully curated photos. The vacations where you spent more time trying to get the perfect angle than you did enjoying the view. The dinners where the food got cold while you adjusted the lighting. It all looks so exhausting now. It looks like a second job you never got paid for. Settings. Privacy. Delete account. Gone. Next is LinkedIn. The most insidious trap of them all. The place where human beings reduce themselves to corporate buzz. Where you pretend to be passionate about quarterly synergies and supply chain optimization. You don't write a farewell post. You don't announce your retirement. You don't offer a final piece of thought leadership. You simply delete the profile. Gone. You close the laptop. For the first 24 hours, you experience what can only be described as a phantom limb syndrome. You are standing in line at the grocery store, and your hand instinctively reaches into your pocket for your phone. You unlock it, and your thumb swipes to the spot where the apps used to be. But there is nothing there, just the blank wallpaper of your home screen. You see a beautiful sunset from your balcony, and your first thought is, I should take a picture of this. And then, a second later, the realization hits you, who would I show it to? And in that moment, a profound shift occurs. You realize that for the last 10 years, you have been experiencing your own life through the eyes of an imaginary audience. You were not looking at the sunset. You were looking at how the sunset would look to other people. You were not enjoying the meal. You were enjoying the idea of other people seeing you eat the meal. But now the audience is gone. The theater is empty. You look at the sunset, and for the first time in a decade, you actually see it. You see the deep oranges and the bruising purples. You watch the light fade. You do not reach for your phone. The moment belongs entirely, exclusively to you. It will not be documented. It will not be commodified. It will just exist, and then it will pass. As the weeks turn into months, your brain begins to heal. The low-grade anxiety that used to hum in the background of your life completely disappears. You no longer care what your high school classmates are doing. You no longer care what the 23-year-old on the beach is making. You are no longer bombarded by the highlight reels of 800 acquaintances. Your world shrinks in the most beautiful way possible. Your world becomes your home, your neighborhood, your books, and the 5 or 6 people you genuinely love. When you go to a coffee shop, you sit and drink your coffee. You watch the people walking by. You listen to the hum of the espresso machine. You are completely present. People who meet you have no preconceived notions about you. They cannot look you up online before a meeting. They cannot judge you by your follower count or your employment history. When you introduce yourself, you are a blank slate. You are simply a human being standing in front of them. You have become untraceable. This is the ultimate luxury. Anyone can buy a sports car if they are willing to take on enough debt. Anyone can buy a designer suit. Anyone can project an image of success. But privacy? Privacy is the rarest commodity of the modern age. Privacy is something you can only afford when you no longer need anything from anyone else. By building your boring business, by living below your means, by choosing cash flow over status, you have bought the right to be left alone. You have bought the right to exist without being perceived. There is a deep, abiding peace in knowing that the internet is churning, the outrage machine is spinning, the influencers are dancing, the corporate ladder is being climbed, and you are completely detached from all of it. You are sitting in your living room on a Tuesday afternoon. The windows are open. A cool breeze is blowing through the house. Your phone is resting on the counter, and it hasn't buzzed in 3 hours. Your bank account is growing quietly in the background. Your bills are paid. Your time is entirely your own. You have won the game precisely because you stopped playing it. If you are listening to this, and you are tired of performing, if you are tired of managing a personal brand just to survive, if you are tired of the endless digital noise, know that there is another way. You do not have to be a public figure to be wealthy. You do not have to be visible to be successful. You can build a quiet machine in the shadows. You can save your money. You can decouple your ego from your income. And one day, when the math finally works, you can log off. You can step out of the digital arena. You can vanish into a life of peace, quiet, and absolute freedom. And the best part? The world won't even notice you left. And you won't care. I'm Henry. Welcome to the boring path.